This lecture is for grade 7, subject science, chapter number 1, human organ system, and this is our first lecture, and I am Mrs. Saira Jamal. As you know, students, the first chapter is about the human organ system, so you must know about what is an organ and organ system. Human body is made up of trillion of cells, and those cells combine together to form tissues, and then tissues combine together or group together to form organs, and organs combine together to form organ system. We have many organ systems in our body, but there are 11 main organ systems. But in this grade, we will discuss only the two main organ systems, which are digestive and respiratory system. Digestive system. Our body needs energy. You know that for doing different activities and work, we need energy. And from where we get that energy? We get that energy from food. It means food is very important for life. What is present in our food? Our food contains many important nutrients, and those nutrients are required by our body. What are those nutrients? Those nutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and but the problem is our body cannot utilize that food directly because those food particles are very large and our body cannot utilize in those large molecules. So the digestive system, through digestive system, a process takes place, and through this process, the large food molecules are converted into smaller molecules or in the simpler form. Then those simpler molecules can easily be utilized by our body. So the parts, and this process is called digestion. The parts of body that take part in the process of digestion form the digestive system. This system in by which the large food molecules are broken down into simpler form. That process is called digestion, and the system which is responsible for it is called digestive system. Eating well is one of the most important things we can do to keep our body healthy. We should take healthy food. We should take healthy diet. The reason is that they contain these important nutrients which are required by our body. Our digestive system breaks down nutrients into simple molecules, and these simple molecules can easily be utilized by our body. You can see in the diagram, students, that this is the food which contain large food molecules. By the digestion, they are converted into simple nutrients, and then those simple nutrients are absorbed in the blood, and the blood can carry it to all parts of the body. The digest how and where the digestion occur? The digestion occur in the digestive system. The digestive system is also called alimentary canal. It starts from mouth, second part is esophagus, third part is stomach, fourth part is small intestine, fifth part is large intestine, sixth part is rectum, and the last part is the anus. Liver and pancreas, these are the supporter of digestive system. The digestion starts from mouth, which is the first part of the digestive system. The process of digestion begins from our mouth. Our mouth is composed of teeth, tongue, and salivary glands. What are the function of teeth? The teeth break the food into small pieces by cutting and grinding, like crushing. The teeth crush the food and then grind it and then convert it into smaller form. Then its swallowing is easy. What is the function of the tongue? The tongue mixes the food with saliva. From where the saliva comes in mouth, it is secreted by the salivary glands. Three types of salivary glands are present in our mouth. First type is called the sublingual gland. Sub means below and lingual means tongue. Second type of salivary glands are called the submandibular. Sub means below and mandibular the jawline. They are present below the jawline. The third type of salivary glands are called the parotid gland. Parotid glands are present near the ear. So these glands secrete saliva, and then that saliva mixes with food. The tongue helps in the mixing of food with saliva. What is the function of that saliva? That saliva have two functions. First function is it start the digestion of carbohydrate. Why saliva start the digestion of only carbohydrates? Why not proteins? Why not fats? The reason is that the saliva contains two enzymes. Those two enzymes are amylase and maltase. These enzymes only convert the carbohydrate large molecules into the small molecules of carbohydrate. Carbohydrates are also called polysaccharide, and the smaller molecules are called glucose. So saliva contain two enzymes. I told you those two enzymes are amylase and maltase, which convert carbohydrate large molecule into simpler form. and its digestion is easy, or its swallowing is easy. This is the first function of saliva. The second function of saliva is mastication. Mastication means that the food becomes soft and moist. The saliva make the food soft and moist, and then the tongue pushes that food to the back of our mouth. It means there are two functions of saliva. One is the digestion of carbohydrate, because saliva contains two enzymes. I told you, amylase and maltase. Second function is a mastication, and I told mastication means to make the food soft and moist. What are the sources of carbohydrate? Carbohydrates are present in starch and sugar. Starch and sugar are the main sources of the carbohydrate. Students, slide next.
In order to understand what a ranula is, it's important to know about a few key structures near the mouth. Saliva is made by three main pairs of salivary glands in the mouth: parotid glands, submandibular glands, and sublingual glands. Each gland has hollow tubes, called ducts, that open into the mouth. The saliva, or spit, flows from the salivary glands through the ducts into the mouth. Sometimes a salivary gland, usually the sublingual.
So I'm sure students, you understand the salivary glands, and you saw their secretion in mouth. That secretion through the ducts enter in the mouth and then help in the digestion of carbohydrate and mastication of food. After mouth, the second part of the digestive system is, you can see, is esophagus. After mouth, the second part is the esophagus. The chew food is then pushed from the mouth into the esophagus. The esophagus is a large tube that carries food from the mouth to the stomach. You can see the food comes from mouth and then enter it into the stomach. The esophagus uses wave-like muscular movement to push the food. These wave-like muscular movement are called peristaltic movement, and the process is called peristalsis. You can understand this peristaltic movement through this image. You can see this is the wave-like movement of the esophagus, which help in movement of food or transferring of food from mouth into the stomach. You can see here the food is ready to enter into the stomach. The third part of the digestive system is stomach. You can see the food after esophagus, it enters into the third part, which is stomach. Our stomach is a J shape muscular bag, large J shape. You can see in the diagram, it is like a J shape muscular bag. It mixes the food with digestive juice. A special type of juice is also secreted in stomach. That juice is called digestive juice. Digestive juice contains hydrochloric acid, and it also contains enzymes, same like the saliva. Digestive juice also contain enzymes. Those enzymes are called proteolytic enzyme. Proteolytic enzyme, they are in inactive form, like pepsinogen. Pepsinogen is in inactive form, like it is not functional, but the hydrochloric acid which is present in the digestive juice, it convert that pepsinogen into pepsin, and the pepsin then become active, and then it help in the digestion of proteins. The digestion of carbohydrates starts in mouth, because I told you the enzymes which are responsible for the digestion of carbohydrates, they are present in mouth. And the enzymes which are responsible for the digestion of proteins, they are called proteolytic enzyme, and they are present in the digestive juice. Enzymes are biological catalysts. Actually, these are the organic compounds which help in the digestion of food. The sources of proteins are meat, egg, milk, and pulses. They are the rich sources of protein. The food spend about 4 hours in the stomach, and the digestive juice also contain acid. There are two functions of that acid. The first function is it kill all the germs which are present in food, and second function is it convert the inactive enzyme into the active enzyme. Before going into the fourth part of the digestive system, here we have an assignment. This assignment you have to do in your notebooks. Is it possible for food we eat to go into stomach and intestine even when we are upside down? Explain. If the answer is yes, the food can go, because only gravity is responsible for the peristaltic movement, and then the food can go into the stomach and intestine. But again, with difficulty, so the best way to take food is sit properly. The fourth part of the digestive system is small intestine. As food leaves our stomach, it enters into the small intestine, which is a long, thin, coiled tube, and it is present inside our abdomen. The final digestion of carbohydrate, fats, and protein occur in the small intestine. Why the final digestion? It means carbohydrate digested in mouth, the protein digested in stomach. Now, which nutrient is left? The nutrients which are left are the fats, the vitamins and minerals. It means their digestion takes place in the small intestine. Again, the reason is that the bile secretion which comes from the liver, pancreatic juice which comes from the pancreas, they enter in the small intestine, and then that pancreatic juice and the bile juice, it helps in the final digestion and absorption of the food in the small intestine. Now, the absorption of the digested food also occur in the not only digestion but also absorption occur in the last part of the small intestine, which is called ileum. The inner surface of the small intestine have many finger-like projection or structures called villi. The digested food then passes into the blood through the walls of the villi. Actually, what happened in the small intestine, I told you the pancreatic juice and then the bile juice, they help in the final digestion of food. Then those food converted into simpler form and it is now ready to absorb in the blood. So what happened in small intestine, the wall of the small intestine have finger-like structure, and those finger-like structures are covered by the capillaries or are surrounded by the capillaries. So those blood then it absorb that simpler food, and then the simpler food enter into the small intestine, and from small intestine it is absorbed in the villi, and in the villi the blood capillaries, and then the blood capillaries transport it to all parts of the body. I have a video, and I'm sure that this will help you in understanding the absorption.
After food is digested into small and soluble food molecules, it can be absorbed into the circulatory system. This absorption process mainly takes place in the ileum. On the inner wall of the ileum, there are a large number of finger-like projections called villi. Each villus has a lymph vessel called lacteal in the center. The lacteal is surrounded by a network of capillaries.
So I'm sure students, you understand it that these are the food molecules which are absorbed in the blood capillaries, and then they are transported to all parts of the body. After small intestine, the next part of the digestive system is the large intestine. The undigested part of the food, it passes or enter into the large intestine. Here what happens? A large amount of water is absorbed from the food, and then the food converted into the solid form. This solid form is called feces. These feces are then stored in the rectum, and when the rectum is filled, then we have an urge of the washroom, and then we excrete out the feces to the last part of the digestive system, which is called anus. Now these are some supporters of the digestive system. Like I told you, the liver secrete the bile juice, and it digests the fat. That bile help in the digestion of fat, which I told you takes place in the small intestine. Small intestine, I told you, carbohydrate digested in mouth, the proteins in stomach, and fats in the small intestine due to the or with the help of this bile secretion which comes from the liver. And it also breaks down the harmful substances in the blood. This is the next function of the liver, the bile juice. Then gallbladder, function of the gallbladder is it the liver secrete the bile, and then that bile is stored in this gallbladder, and then from the gallbladder it enters into the small intestine. You can see this green part. The bile juice comes into the gallbladder, stored here, and then it goes into the small intestine, and in small intestine it helps in the digestion of fats and other nutrients. The next part is the pancreas. You can see in the diagram, it is a leaf-like structure, pancreas. The pancreas also secreted pancreatic juice, and then that pancreatic juice also help and this pancreatic juice also secrete the juice into the small intestine, and then this pancreatic juice also help in the digestion of carbohydrate, proteins, and fats. Shouldn't we have an anti-peristaltic movement also, and this takes place mostly when someone have ulcer or food poisoning. Then instead of peristalsis, anti-peristaltic movement takes place, and that is called vomiting. Then the person feel vomiting. We have one more assignment, and that is about our stomach digest the protein like meat, and why does it choose not digest the stomach itself? Because the stomach wall is also made up of protein. So the answer is that there is a secretion in the stomach. I told you digestive juice, which contain the HCl, but that HCl will not digest to the stomach wall because another the secretion called mucus. Mucus is it surround the stomach wall, and that mucus prevent the interaction of the HCl and the stomach wall, and hence it is not digested by the hydrochloric acid or the enzymes, proteolytic enzyme, due to the presence of that mucus. Hope you students you understand my lecture. Inshallah, the next topic is the disorder of digestive system. We will discuss in our next lecture. Thank you.